Hello! Happy second week of 2022, unless you are watching this in the future, which, why are you watching Christmas Pickups 2023 in another year? Bit weird. But you do you, that's all fine. So, yeah. Christmas has been and gone, New Year's has been and gone, and games abound. So, I figured I'd talk about all the stuff I got over Christmas, and some stuff I've picked up in the last couple of days through the magnificence that is trading shit in. And getting getting stuff in the post that you ordered nearly 2 years ago now. But yeah, so, Christmas first though. Starting off, just a few games from my friends, with Duke Nukem 1 and 2. Sorry, Duke Nukem Collection 1, Duke Nukem Collection 2 for the Evercade. These are very cool. I'm quite a big Duke Nukem fan, aside from Forever, because it's shit. And the guys who got me this actually got me Duke Nukem 3D World Tour 20th Anniversary. Yes, that is just as much a fucking mouthful as you would picture it to be, for the PS4 last year for my birthday. Or was that no, it might have been 2022. 2022 for my birthday. Yeah, big Duke Nukem fan. So you will be seeing a video from me in the future where I will talk considerably more about these two games, or game collections, including Duke Nukem Advance, which I don't know how that's going to be, because it's Duke Nukem Advance. I don't think anybody took any first-person shooter on the GBA seriously. I certainly didn't. But what I am certainly very interested in is Duke Nukem 1 and 2 Remastered, right there, which knocked a lot of people off, including Civvy, which was quite amusing to watch, because he was like, I'm not playing on the Evercade. Why can't they release the remastered versions on Steam or something? We need exclusives to sell a console, unfortunately. You can't just have... Well, you can't not sell a console if you don't have games to buy for the fucking thing. So, if they've got that, power to them. And I'm only really saying that because I've got an Evercade, which is nice. So, yeah. Good. Thank you to my two friends, my two lovely friends who got those for me. Much appreciated. Very, very cool. Big fan. Another game from a friend of mine. Shenmue 2 for the Dreamcast. Shenmue 2 for the Dreamcast. I'm quite a Dreamcast fan, to an extent. I'm certainly more of a Saturn fan, but Shenmue 2 is one of those games I've been kind of staring at for years. Going, should get that on Dreamcast. Now, I had the original, and then I sold it. So, that's helpful. I've now only got the sequel to Shenmue, which is fine. Not really my cup of tea, the third one. Played it very briefly, and it was crap. It was crap. Not a very fun game, quite frankly. Yeah, I think it's the fact that a lot of the fans had waited 20 years? Like nearly 20 years for a decent sequel to Shenmue 2, and when it comes out, it just goes, oh, there's a cliffhanger again. It's like, great. Thanks. Thanks. Are you working on a Shenmue 4? No, I'm going to make Air Twister, which is just basically Space Harrier again. Right. And it's going to be just as weird as you would think it is. And it's very fucking weird. It's a very fucking weird game. But, that's Japanese auteurs for you. They make what they want to make, and often it's not what we want to play. So, great. But Shenmue 2 does not have that problem. It is a very, very solid game, and thank you to the friend of mine who got it for me. Much, much appreciated. Big, big fan. So, my family got me some games, shockingly, because that's all I asked them for. Starting with Vaporum. No idea what this is, to be honest with you. I know it's like a grid-based dungeon crawler RPG, which is not something I typically play, but it's something I've been wanting to play, which is more important. and the fact it's steampunky, very cool. Steampunky and Bioshocky. Now look at it. So yeah, that's definitely a cool one. Thank you to my brother for that. I will be putting that in my Switch as soon as I can. Once I've finished with other things. Yes, it's on my backlog. So next up we have Teardown. Teardown is a kind of reverse Minecraft. It's a game where you blow stuff up, break stuff with a sledgehammer, blow stuff up with more stuff, melt stuff with acid, plow into buildings and detonate huge explosions. Just, yeah. Whole thing is about running this weird little construction company. And by construction, I mean destruction company. Where you just get paid to do horribly illegal activities, blow up copious amounts of buildings and trust fund babies, pet projects, and just stuff like that. It's just, yeah. One of my favourite bits was you go to this guy's villa, and you're supposed to just kind of break in and wreck his computer. I didn't do that. His villa's like this, so it's on like a flat pair of pillars coming down like this, and then it's attached to the main house. So what I did was I separated the only route and only connections to the main house that there were, and then I blew out both pillars, which caused the entire thing to just collapse into the ground, which was just so satisfying. It's one of those moments that this game is very, very good at. They're adding new stuff all the time from what I hear, and there's like a whole sandbox mode as well, which is extraordinarily cool. So yeah, pick this up. Very, very good game. Thank you to my family for it. So yeah, Spellforce, Conquest of Eos. If you don't know what this is, it's a sort of 4X spin-off of the Spellforce series. Now, I haven't had much to do with the Spellforce series outside of 3, which is a very solid RPG RTS hybrid, which is very cool. I need to put more time into it. Specifically, it's skirmish mode, so I can get to know all 6 factions. 6 factions. Absolutely insane. So, when I heard that they were doing a 4X version, I was quite intrigued. Now, if you don't know what 4X is, it's very much like Civ, or Civilization. Sid Meier's Civilization, which is a constantly ongoing franchise that I have been trying desperately hard to get into, and failing miserably. I am terrible at 4X games. Absolutely appalling. I just can't wrap my head around them. And I played an awful lot of Civilization Revolution back in the day. But, yeah, no. That's very much baby's first 4X game. So as a result, I could win. With Spellforce, I was interested to see how you take an RTS and work it into a kind of empire strategy, civilization building game. And hopefully, it's good. I haven't got around to playing it yet. I am really looking forward to it, though, so thank you to my family for that. Big loves. Big loves for that. I did have some other items from my wife and from myself via trade-in and waiting for delivery. But here we are. So, if this next item doesn't need really any introduction, it's my game of the year from last year. Robocop Rogue City. Very, very, very good game. Very good game. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. Yeah. I mean, there were 2 problems I had with the game. Number 1, every other weapon is basically obsolete when you've got a ludicrously overpowered hand cannon, like you do. But if I'm going to be Robocop, I'm using his fucking gun. And the ending. It's not the ending was bad, because it really, really wasn't. But what it was unplayable, unfortunately. Every time I got to the final boss fight and kind of cleared through it in about 5 seconds, it crashed, which is annoying. But a big part of that is just me having to, update my PS5, which I'll get round to. This comes from the lovely people at Teon, who did the 2014 John Rambo game, which is one of the worst video games of all time, and Terminator Resistance, which is one of the best movie fucking tie-in games of all time. Just, in fact, not. It clashes with this for the best. I mean, if you're really big into Terminator, you're going to make a pretty solid RoboCop game where you're just basically walking cover, which you are. To the point where dudes riding around on motorcycles, they just crash into you and explode. Or, well, you grab them off the bike, hurl them at their friends, and then throw their bike after them, which is always a lot of fun. But yeah, Terminator Resistance really was what caught my eye with this particular developer. They're called Teon, and they know this shit. They know how to make a very solid AA tier game. Not AAA, not like, say, God of War or any of that other mass-produced crap. They know how to make a very solid, contained, well-put-together, well-driven, fun experience, which so many games have lost. Like, there's so many games that are just absolutely ludicrously huge and they're not fun to play. I'm looking at you, Tears of the Kingdom. But yes, that's it from my family. So thank you for those lovely presents. They are much appreciated, very much so. And moving on to presents from my wife, which, thank you, lovely wife. You are indeed gorgeous. So yeah, starting with F-Zero Grand Prix 2. That is a reproduction cart for a game that came out on the Nintendo Super Nintendo Entertainment System Satellaview add-on. So this thing basically was downloadable games kind of before the internet was mainstream. Before the internet was widespread. You'd download a set number of games per week. They were often quite short, or they were just remixes of different ones. And yeah, I found that on eBay for not bad, actually. And my wife was like, do you want it? And I went, yes I do. Because I am aiming to get every F-Zero game I can that isn't the fucking Super Nintendo... Sorry, the N64 disk drive add-on for F-Zero X. But yeah, F-Zero Grand Prix 2. Going to be looking for F-Zero Grand Prix 1 now. But yeah, this is a lot of fun, actually. So thank you to that. Love you much, Julie. Okay. Oh, what could that be? It's Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which was my number 10 game from last year, I believe. Big fan of this. It's even got a big old load of stickers. This is the I Am 8-bit version, which I kind of wish my wife hadn't invested a lot of money into because, well, quite frankly, I think the cheaper one would have been better for our bank accounts. But not to say I don't love it, because I do. Really fun game. If you know anything about Jet Set Radio, which you should do, Sega announced a new one coming out this year, hopefully, which is very cool. But this is very much what if Sega had continued to make Jet Set Radio games, or more importantly, if they'd taken the Jet Set Radio Future model and enhanced it and made it better, which they did. Well, these guys did. Team Reptile. Yeah, you play as this guy who's called Red. You get decapitated. At the beginning of the game, some weird disc jockey steals your head, and then you get fitted with a robo-noggin to go get it back. Which I don't know. That thing would be festering after a couple of hours, let alone however long you're in a coma for. But yeah, really solid gameplay. No multiplayer this time around, which is a bit of a shame. Would have been something I'd have liked to have seen. But otherwise, yeah, really solid experience. Love it. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, if you're watching this video, you're probably in that space where you know who the happy console gamer is. So I've been watching Johnny for about 12 years? Longer? since 2000. Yeah, 13 years. I've been watching Johnny for 13 years, which is insane. He's kind of one of the original guys to just start talking about games he wants to talk about on the internet. But not in a style that was like, say, James Rolfe or Nostalgia Critic. I know he doesn't talk about games, but similar sort of thing. That's a bandana for his 15th anniversary. And, oh no, have I been watching him? 2012, 2023. No, 12 years. Yeah, I've been watching him 12 years. That's insane. But yeah, weirdly enough, first introduced to him via the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast rocks. I was looking to see whether or not getting a Dreamcast was worth it. And his video was one of the first to pop up. And I was like, oh, look, a legitimate person who grew up during that era. Well, was an adult during that era. And, yeah. So, yeah, congratulations on your 15th anniversary, Johnny. And to Robert the Man. And, yeah, here's to another 15 more, if we're lucky. Okay, final item from my wife, and final Christmas present overall, before I get into just the 3 or 4 bits that I got otherwise. Firewatch. You may know I got this on my Game of the Year list. It's a limited run title that I've been kind of waiting a long time to get. And it's extraordinarily cool. I love this game. I absolutely adore Firewatch. I think my wife was a bit put out by the ending, as are most people who play Firewatch and go, wow, that ending is something else. Yeah, comes with a big old map as well as some other stuff just kind of about Shoshone National Park in Wyoming, which I think I'm 99% certain is a real place. And if I'm not, I'm sorry to people from Wyoming if you're bothering to watch an English man in his games room talking about random crap he got for Christmas. Which, thank you. Great. Love this game. Thank you very much to her. Much appreciated. Yeah, so that's it for Christmas. I did pick up a couple games via trade-in the other day. Just Splatoon 2. I've had this before, to be fair. This might even be my copy. But I kind of wanted to get back into it after playing I played the original on the Wii U a few months ago, and yeah, I miss Splatoon, and I kind of want to play a bit of this before I play 3. So yeah, no, I don't have online. I don't play on. Ooh. Not my camera. Oh dear, very silly. Clash, Artifacts of Chaos. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been looking for this for about a year now. I've wanted this for about a year. It came out early last year, on PS5 as well. This is just the PS4 version, which is fine. But yeah, Ace Team, who have done Rock of Ages, the Rock of Ages trilogy. They did Soul Seraph a couple years ago. They did the Eternal Cylinder a couple years ago, which my wife's a big fan of, and I have somewhere behind me. So, to find the 3rd game in the Xenoclash series, big fan. Now I love Xenoclash. It's an ugly, ugly, ugly game. It's an ugly world, but you know what? There's just something beautifully surreal about the whole thing that I just really, really love. And finishing out with games, Cyberpunk. I am very late to the party, but there is a good reason. I do not play games that are broken on launch. I just don't. I wait until they have some kind of release like this. It's very similar to how I got Control, and very similar to how I got Devil May Cry 5. Not that those two were broken on launch, but they certainly didn't run on PS4 very well. So, to have Cyberpunk 2077. Love this game. I've been playing the ever-loving nodules out of it for the last couple of days, and I've clocked in... God. I got it on Thursday, and I started playing it Friday evening, and I haven't done really anything but. I've been playing nothing but this, and you know what? It's a lot of fun. It's honestly an awful lot of fun. This did come with the DLC, or more importantly, it didn't come with the DLC. It did come with the code, but unfortunately, I don't think that works. I think it's used. Well, this was used, but I think the code is used. I'll have to try that out if I ever bother to plug my PlayStation 5 online. But yeah, so that's it for games. There is, however, one final item that a lot of people who are in this particular space have been waiting on for a very long time. For some of us, we're still waiting on the core fucking console. And that is Polymega. Specifically, this is the EM05, which I bought last May. I pre-ordered this last May. This is essentially, if you don't know what a Polymega is, it is a console that has different modules on it that allow you to play different games. So in this particular one's case, it is the Nintendo 64, which is pretty cool. I did not realise the box would be this fucking enormous, and especially with the release of the base module later in February, I'm going to be using pretty much nothing but, I think, for a few months, because I've been looking forward to this thing for 2 years. 2 years, Polymega. That's how long we've been waiting. You know what? Quality-wise, I'm very happy with that. That is the Ultra 64 module. From what I gather, you just kind of pop it on the system and plug it back in, and then you can play. Using up to 4 controllers, which is great. But that's what a fucking N64 should do. From what I understand, this thing uses emulation, so it's kind of using your own games. It's not really like, it doesn't really use them off the disc, which will be lovely for when I play Panzer Dragoon Saga. But yeah, that's the controller, and that's what it looks like in the barracks. Nice controller, actually. I am legitimately curious. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if it's got an under Z button. So if you know the N64 at all, you know it's got an additional trigger under the middle prong, which yeah, just as balls awkward to use as it is to play. But yeah, I don't know if that's I don't know which one of the triggers on that particularly is, but that's okay. Yeah, that's the Ultra 64 module for the Polymega. Something I've been waiting a long time to play, and once I get the bloody actual module set, so I bought the full set. I bought everything. But the only thing I haven't bought is the light gun, which maybe I will. Maybe I'll get the light gun. I wouldn't mind getting it just to play House of the Dead or Area 51 or whatever. But yeah, yeah, this. Very cool. No idea where any of the Polymega... Because if each module comes in a box this big, which I'm 99% certain they do, that's another 4 boxes this size, and the core module box itself. So I have no idea where any of that's going to go. But that's okay. Fine, I'm sure. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. Next week I will be doing my updated game room tour, so stick around for that. That will be much appreciated. And that is me signing off.